Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Steven. We are going to have another episode of Reef Chat. And today we are going to continue talking about coral feeding. So previously I've talked about whether or not you should be feeding your coral. And in this episode we will talk about my initial feedback on Nyos Instant Plankton. So this package, if you can see the size, is roughly about 3.5 inch tall of a box here, and then the bottle that comes inside is about yay tall. So here's my hand, and it comes with a small dosing spoon. So if any of you have been using Saliford testing kit, you can see this is roughly the same size as those Saliford dosing spoons. And let me read you the directions in English. So, Nyos Instant Plankton are highly developed planktonic microfood clusters for corals, invertebrates, and small fish. Supplementary food to coral, invertebrates, and ornamental fish. Feeding direction: 1 to 3 dosage spoons. So this stuff here. To about 100 liter or roughly 25 gallons per day. We recommend mixing instant plankton with Nyos absolute aminos together with some water and allowing it to dissolve for a few minutes. And ingredients contains marine protein, marine oil, which we'll talk about in a little bit, algae extract, phospholipids, minerals. By the way, phospholipid, if you hear the word lipid, it's another type of oil. Minerals, vitamin premixture, and antioxidants. Some of this is actually very vague. Guaranteed analysis: crude protein 54.2% minimum, crude fat 14.8%, crude fiber maximum of 1.3%, and ash at the maximum of 20.8%, basically 21%. So ash is basically just it's junk. Nothing uses it. It's kind of like a puff material. So what essentially this instruction here is saying that out of the 60 milligram here, about 21% of this is just garbage. That puts up about 12 milligrams out of this bottle, and then the rest is what your reef creature really need. Oh, one side note in the very bottom: not for human consumption. Duh. Anyways, so I'm gonna tell you straight away that very few people would have exactly 25 gallons of tank water volume. So it's probably not the easiest to calculate if you're using their dosing spoon. And a lot of reefers I know out there probably have at least minimum of 3 to 4 times up to 20-30 times of what this would recommend. So essentially what we're talking about is one dose of this, or 1 day worth of this is probably gonna last like 2 or 3 days. For me, the amount of critters I have in my tank, I honestly, instead of using this tiny little spoon here, I am actually gonna use a much larger spoon, because yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys. This is what the mixture kind of look like, and if I am to move this, whatever's in this spoon around with the tiny dosing spoon, you can see it's pretty flaky. Okay, I'm gonna throw it in my cup here, tap it a little bit, close it up, and what I'm gonna do is I will actually mix in with my tank water. By the way, the instructions is that the recommendation is that I mix in some Nyos absolute aminos. I don't have that right now, but we can go into the amino acid topic, but that's for another episode. So let me just quickly show you. Remember, we talk about fat and lipid. So if you look at this mixture right here, this is what happens after I added water. See all these clumps in the top? That is because of the amount of fat and oil that this food contains. So fat is lighter than water. You know, if you ever mix in any kind of powder that doesn't dissolve in water and kind of just float in chunks on the top, that's what happens. So yeah, if you do decide to use this food, make sure you pre-mix it in a different container, because if you just kind of toss it into your tank, it's just gonna all get filtered out or all flow into your overflow. None of your critters in the tank will be able to actually even have a chance to catch it. So what I tend to have to do is kind of crush this against the side of the cup. It is pretty annoying, I'll be honest with you. So I have to do that for a few minutes and really mix it in well, because as I stir it, more powder is going to surface from the bottom. And one more thing is that it doesn't really come with any mechanism for target feeding. So if you do want to target feed using this food, I recommend you can get some syringe without a needle. You know, they come with just like a little tube, and you can get them from Amazon real cheap. But if you look at all this, you get my point. Yeah, make sure you pre-mix it. My recommendation for Nyos as a consumer for this product is I actually kind of wish they would have just pre-mixed this and sell this in kind of like a liquid format, similar to what the Red Sea Complete A and B is. So right now it's kind of roughly mixed in. The next thing I'll do is I'll turn off my tank's overflow, and yeah, my tank's super blue in the evenings. I'll keep my Vortex on a feeding mode so that it still moves the water around a little bit, but not so fast that my SPS won't capture it. So let's have a look to see what it looks like when I dose it in the water. Alright, I'm ready to dose this, and I'll probably be away from the mic and the camera a little bit, so just watch out for the dosing in the next few seconds here. Alright, so now the food is dispensed in the water column, and you can see that I've turned the return pump off and also turned the Vortex into the feeding mode. Now, Niles is probably not gonna like this video because I honestly do not like this food. For the cost of this food, I feel the volume is way too small. It's not gonna last very long if you feed it according to Niles' instruction, which is 1 little scoop per day per 25 gallons. It certainly will not last as long as some of their competing products. And as far as the nutritional analysis, you know, protein is fine. I don't know how helpful fat is towards coral. Maybe invertebrates. Some of them may be able to use the fat, and maybe fish if your fish also try to consume it. But you know, if you have better knowledge in this area, if you're a marine biologist or very experienced in these products, please jump out. Feel free to comment and tell us your thoughts on fat or fatty food versus coral's health. Like, I personally don't see a real purpose for it. I don't think it's absolutely necessary for coral to consume fatty food, but maybe it does. Who knows? At least that's not the analysis in some of the other food that we feed corals with. And then as far as the 21% of ash, that's just disappointing. Like, I don't understand why is it necessary to include 20% of ash into a 60-gram little bottle. It's kind of a waste, to my opinion. And it's not a cheap product either. So in conclusion, will I recommend feeding Nyos to your corals or invertebrate? I guess it depends on what you feed them with. You know, if it's a small polyp coral, and if it's a soft coral, maybe. I mean, I personally know there are better products out there that are less expensive for this, so I personally will not buy it again. It is up to you to make that call, and if you have had success with it, please feel free to jump out and defend these products. But I don't think that it's worth the money. I don't think it is worth my while to use this product. I mean, I already bought it. I'm gonna finish using it up. I don't think it will do any harm. But also, at the same time, you know, if I'm doing the same regimen, I might as well give them some other type of food that I can easier target feed and without having to spend the extra time to mix in the food with water because of how fatty that food is. Maybe it is a good food for, say, oyster or clams or some other inverts that you have, but as far as coral feeding, I think that'll be a pass for me going forward. So that's my personal feeling. Again, you know, this video is not sponsored by anybody, as you can tell. So this is my opinion, and if you have a different opinion, please feel free to comment, leave a remark, let everyone know. You know, I love to have your education, and share your thoughts on what type of food is better than Nyos, or if you feel that Nyos is the supreme coral/invertebrate food. So thank you again, and if you would like to see more contents like this, to hear me sharing more of my experiences and review other products, please make sure you help support me by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. Thank you again, and I look forward to see you.